Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady, where people get mistaken for being workers by some real oblivious people. Hope you're all doing awesome today. Be sure to subscribe for more, and let's get right into today's Reddit posts. Fired from Walmart. So at the time this happened, I was in my late 20s, and was working as a wireman and moonlighting as a mechanic. As a result of my 2 jobs and a few other factors, I have ended up with a keyring to put a janitor to shame. Apparently, this would come into play later on. After a long day, I had gone to Walmart to pick up a few things, and I had wandered back towards the electronics part of the store. Standing there with my earpods in, listening to music and looking for a replacement phone case, this lady walked up halfway between being next to me and being behind me. I'm in my own little world comparing cases, and by a habit I picked up when I was a librarian's assistant, I was also putting random cases back where they belong, trying to find what I needed. This lady starts rattling away about something I couldn't hear, and after saying something to get my attention a couple times, she tapped me on the shoulder. Turning around, I removed one pod so I could hear her, and she repeated herself, asking me where something was. I replied I had no idea, and went back to what I was doing. This apparently did not sit well with the resident Karen, and she stormed off to find the manager. Some 20 minutes later, I find my way to the camping section for some other item I needed. From the far end of the aisle, here comes Karen with the poor befuddled manager in tow, pointing me out, squawking away about something I couldn't hear. As they approached, I see she is pointing at me, and the manager takes over, finally putting on his big boy pants. Again, I removed my pods to see what they have come to disturb me with. The manager asks me why I refused to help earlier. I replied that it's not my job to help someone find something they couldn't find on their own. Apparently this was the wrong reply, and he proceeds to chew me up one side and down the other. At this point, I've realized what is going on, and I halfway play along while trying to contain my fitful laughter. He tells me I need to turn my keys in, and that I am suspended until further notice. After a flippant and dismissive comment from me, the manager then proceeds to do his best impression of a cartoon character's volcanic explosion of anger and lets loose. Apparently, I am fired effective immediately, and can no longer apply to work for any Walmart ever again. I can no longer contain myself, and start laughing hysterically while I tell him, I don't work here. He tells me that, of course I don't, he just fired me. I then clarified and tell him I never worked for Walmart ever, never even applied. At this stage, the local Karen has turned several shades of embarrassingly red, and the manager has joined her. His anger fleeing faster than a track star when he realizes his mistake. Still giggling uncontrollably, I grabbed my car and strolled away, while she proceeded to dole out apologies for the entire affair. Ma'am, those are tumors, not monkeypox, and I don't work here. So I was at my neighborhood Bullseye store looking around for some root beer and minding my own business, like most normal people do. The aisle was pretty empty aside from myself, and I was listening to YouTube with some small earbuds so I couldn't hear what was going on around me. I am also very visibly disabled. My hands and face are full of tumors from neurofibromatosis. They aren't gigantic, but they are there. Because of this, my central nervous system is totally shot. Simple tasks like washing my hands can sometimes cause excruciating pain, and because of this, I really don't like to be randomly touched unless I know the touch is coming. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a 40-ish looking woman, tapping her high heel in my direction. I ignore her as she's not my problem to deal with and she's being rude. I suddenly feel a tug on my ear and my earbud falls to the floor, and I see her foot stomp on it. I am pissed. She's trying to pull me to a standing position by my ear, and with the reflex, I take a swing backwards and connect with her face. This probably hurt me a lot more than it hurt her due to the tumors in my fingers. Karen begins to say, "You hit me." I don't even let her finish her sentence, and I say, "Don't f***ing touch me. You just assaulted me and broke my property and you're going to replace it." "The hell I am. I just want the laundry detergent location and you just hit me." As I turn to face her, she notices the tumors on my face and starts screaming to where someone in the deepest pit of hell would hear her. "Oh my god, this man has monkeypox and isn't wearing a mask. Security, police, anyone, help." There is noticeable swelling under her right eye at this point, and a manager and a security guard approaches. This employee just punched me in the face. All I wanted to know was where the laundry detergent is. Manager takes one look at me and starts to ask, "Sir, who is your direct sup?" And I say, "Are you really about to ask me if I work here? Take a close look at me, dude." He kind of squints looking at my face. "See, he has monkeypox," says Karen. And the manager says, "Sir, you really should be wearing a mask." "No, I am disabled, and this woman just assaulted me and broke my personal property. I very obviously don't work here. Look at my shirt." I was wearing a black Pool Combat Club shirt with the matching hoodie. "Get the police here now," I said. The manager goes white as a ghost. The security guard is already on the radio with the local PD at this point, and I know I better calm down and let cooler heads prevail here because I don't want to go to jail. When the police arrive, I give them my version of the events. I'm sure to let the cop know I'm disabled. He even empathizes with me. Karen gives hers, and one of the officers goes and watches the security tape with the security guard. They come back after a few minutes, and the two cops talk to each other out of earshot for a few minutes. "Sir, would you like to press charges?" asked the cop. "What? He hit me," said Karen. And the other cop says, "No, I saw the video. You attacked this man who is very obviously another customer, and clearly disabled. What the hell is the matter with you?" Karen didn't really seem to have an answer as the reality of what she did seemed to sink in. "Yes, I'd like to press full charges," I said. So Karen gets a nice pair of handcuffs, and that was that. I'll probably have to go to court. EMT mistaken for retail worker. So I'm an EMT and I work two jobs. One is a 911 service that's pretty fast-paced, and the other is a non-emergency transport service where we don't stay too busy. About a month ago, I was working my non-emergency job, and I realized I didn't bring my cell phone charger with me. We weren't busy at all that day, so I told my partner I needed to swing by the store and pick one up. We got to the store, parked the rig, and walked inside. I went to the electronics department and he walked over to the outdoor section. Now my uniform at this service is a red button-up shirt, black tactical cargo pants, and black boots. Absolutely nothing like the store's uniform, but whatever. So I'm standing there looking at chargers, trying to decide which one I want, when I hear this dumb psycho bitch, DPB for short, clearing her throat in an obvious attempt to get my attention. I turned and looked at her, nodded my head, and said, "How are you, ma'am?" Then turned back towards the chargers. The craziest crap I've ever witnessed. "Well, I'd be better if you'd stop shopping on the clock and do your job." I slowly turned my head back towards her with my mouth hanging open in complete disbelief. "Lady, what are you talking about?" "I'm talking about how I need help, and your lazy ass is shopping instead of helping me. I'll give you one chance to help me find what I need before I find your manager, and have you fired." Now I know I could have just explained that I don't work there and probably ended it there, but this woman needed to learn her lesson. I say, "No, I'd rather you just go find my manager." The psycho says, "What a piece of shit." She storms off and I finish picking out a charger, and about that time my partner walks up. I tell him what happened and he says I must be exaggerating. That's just too crazy. Just as we're turning to go to the register to check out, I see the psycho turning down the aisle with the manager in tow. That's him there, the one with the big beard. I want him fired immediately. The manager looks extremely confused at this point. "Ma'am, I'm sorry for the confusion, but he doesn't work here. Our uniforms are blue. He's wearing red." At this point, my partner and I bust out laughing, and the psycho's face turns as red as our shirts, and she starts screaming at the manager. Then I want him thrown out of the store. I have never been treated this way before. F you both, you pieces of shit. "Ma'am, they haven't done anything wrong that I can see, but if you don't lower your voice, I will have you removed from the store." The lady turns and storms off while still yelling about how unprofessional this is, and how she'll never come back to the store. The manager apologizes to us, and I tell him what started the issue. He thought it was hilarious and laughed about it, then walked with us to the closest register to check out. While we're checking out, our radios go off for an emergency transfer at the hospital about a mile away. Female patient, 24 weeks pregnant and preterm labor, needs to be transferred to a higher level of care. We rush out to the ambulance, and as soon as my partner puts the truck in drive, a car stops right in front of our parking space, and the psycho jumps out phone in hand, filming herself acting like a damn fool. These are the assholes that embarrassed me in the store. I will not let them get away with it. I want your names and your manager's number right goddamn now. I roll down my window and lean my head out. Ma'am, our unit number and company phone number are on the back of the ambulance. You're more than welcome to take a picture of it while we drive away, but we have a call and don't have time for this. Please move your car and let us leave. I don't give a f about your call, you prick. Lady, I just told you that we have a call. If you don't move your car, I will call the police and have you charged with obstruction of EMS. I'm not asking you again. Move your damn car. As soon as I mention the police, she walks back to her car still cussing at me and gets in her car and reverses it so we can leave. I don't know if she ever called or not, but this definitely made me realize what retail workers go through and respect them more. White lady automatically assumes I, half Asian, work at this Chinese restaurant. All employees are wearing fancy black clothing, while I am literally wearing a bright green bomber jacket, wild hair day, socks with Birkenstock sandals. My dad and I are waiting in line to be seated at Dan Modern, while she impatiently waits for her online order behind us. I don't resemble my white dad very much, and he isn't super talkative. She doesn't seem to realize we were there together when trying to get my attention. Excuse me. Sorry, what? She goes on to angrily rant about her order, how long she's been waiting, and is clearly trying to take her anger out on me. I am super confused and finally cut her off when I realize why she's telling me all this, quickly saying, I don't work here, but sorry to hear. Oh. She immediately goes back on her phone and coldly refuses to make further eye contact until we got seated. I don't know, she must have been about my age, mid-20s, and embarrassed. She should be. I was clearly a customer. I don't know why anyone would make this assumption outside of racial appearances, but let me know. Anyway guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. So have an awesome day friends, and I'll see you next time.